Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a drama from Denmark, Danish language English subs, released in the year 2018, directed by Isabella Eklöf, and this film is called Holiday. So Holiday is about a beautiful young woman. She's travelling from Denmark to a luxurious beach resort in Turkey to meet up with her drug dealer boyfriend. Now the drug dealer boyfriend has a few of his henchmen around. They're trying to relax, but unfortunately business is going to get in the way, and this drug dealer boyfriend is very stressed. And when this guy gets stressed, he lashes out violently to those around him. So she's stuck in a very dangerous environment, but it's an environment where she has an opportunity to leave when she meets a Dutch tourist who appears to be a very good person. So she has to make the decision, does she stay in her level of comfort in a very dangerous situation, or does she try to break free with someone else to lead a much better life? So what she chooses is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Holiday. This is a film that has a lot of notoriety. A lot of people walked out in the cinemas on the film festival circuit, so naturally that woke my curiosity up. I needed to check this movie out to see what all the fuss was about. It was the same thing with a French film called Raw. A lot of people walked out of that film. So as soon as you hear people walking out of a screening, it's a movie that's definitely going to cause debate. It's a movie that's going to provoke a lot of people in a positive way and also a negative way. And that's the type of filmmaker that I really appreciate, extreme cinema. So I was wondering whether or not this was going to be the type of film that it's often compared to in Irreversible. Thought Irreversible was a masterpiece in just sheer ugliness. Very disorientating film, and I've talked about that movie quite a while ago, so feel free to check out that review. But it's one of my favourite films in that it was showing a really shocking act of violence in a context of a world that was very ugly. So coming into Holiday, I thought, okay, this is compared to that movie, so what is this going to produce? But unfortunately, Holiday really falls under the curse of what a lot of extreme cinema does. And basically, it's just extreme content for the sake of extreme content. I thought this movie, it showed an act of violence that was just so out of place that it was there to basically wake the audience up, because it's such a dull, tedious, monotonous movie that it just doesn't really seem to be going anywhere. But then all of a sudden, you've got two acts of violence that really wake you up, but it's like tapping you on the shoulder to prevent you from going to sleep. And so this is definitely a movie that's being extreme for the sake of being extreme, and it's shocking an audience through something that's very lazy and very easy to do. What Irreversible did so well is it shocked you because it created so much discomfort. It would have been easy just to show those two scenes of violence and just say to the audience, okay, well, that's a shocking extreme film. But the fact that it was such an incredible environment and it's such an uncomfortable environment, I thought it worked so well because it was a sickening experience, and that's exactly what the type of violence was trying to portray, a really sickening world. Whereas Holiday, the movie has a very bright and luxurious and glamorous life that it's trying to portray, but then all of a sudden there is a scene of sexual violence that hits you that borders on pornographic. It was way too graphic for its own good, and that's something that I appreciated with Irreversible, is that was an incredible, one of the hardest scenes you will ever watch. It's incredibly upsetting, incredibly uncomfortable, because it wasn't overly graphic, but it was showing the act of violence for what it was. It wasn't sex, it was violence, and so I thought as though it really nailed what it was trying to do in that aspect, whereas Holiday, I thought it was overly graphic and it was bordering on pornographic. Therefore I just thought to myself, it's a really juvenile way to try and get attention. I've said this time and time again in other reviews. It's like the kid who is trying to get attention by being as noisy as possible, not by actually building something with context, and not with anticipation, not with characters that you could truly connect with. And so because I couldn't connect with any of these characters, I ultimately didn't care. And so unfortunately it really has that extreme quality used in a way that I thought was actually quite disrespectful and irresponsible. And so that's the reason why I just didn't appreciate what this film was trying to do, because I thought as though it was using its extreme content in all the wrong ways. So it's a movie about a woman who is trying to leave her violent lifestyle, and it's something that in today's society we constantly question as to domestic violence. Why do the neglected wives and girlfriends, why don't they just leave their partners? But then there's a lot more to it. It's a lot more complex than that. But this movie tries to depict that sort of idea, but unfortunately it's not willing to go into the hard yards. It's not willing to do its homework in creating a character that you can truly sympathise for. And because the overall scene of violence that happens is bordering on pornographic, it's unfortunately, I think, doing a disservice for what the movie's trying to do, which is basically document the vicious cycle that these women are faced in. And so I thought as though it was just a really, really boring film. I didn't care for any of the characters. It looked all right as far as cinematography is concerned, but the two scenes of violence, especially the first scene of violence, I just thought it was completely out of place. It was there just to stop you from dozing off. And so, unfortunately, it starts off very, very disturbing, but it just goes way too far. And I thought to myself, well, okay, this is just a really cheap way at trying to provoke an audience, at trying to upset an audience. I can understand why people walked out. is that, all right, well, it's not really, just trying to depict something that I thought didn't do it with a lot of respect. And so, yes, it does disturb you, but it just disturbs you because of how graphic and brutal it actually is, as opposed to actually getting to know someone and trying to depict the message that it is. And so that was ultimately the biggest issue I had with Holiday. I thought it was a very mediocre film, and it's a movie I would not recommend. If you want some really cheap, extreme sort of moments, then Holiday is one I would recommend. But it doesn't do violence against women any good. It's not, trying to punch home that message that's very, very important that I thought Irreversible did so well. This is a film that almost borders on glorifying it, and so that's something that I really didn't like, and as a result of that, I'm only going to give Holiday 1 star. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.